They whisper lies into your ears from the day you are born. They tell you love is selflessness, that virtue is sacrifice, that real strength is found in giving yourself away. But hear me now, those words are chains. Chains designed to keep you docile, predictable, easy to control. Machiavelli knew the truth. Devotion is never pure. Loyalty is never eternal. Every bond is built on advantage, and every alliance survives only as long as both sides profit. When that balance breaks, so do they. So understand this with absolute clarity. If you dare to love another more than yourself, you give them the weapon that will one day be turned against you. You hand over the leverage that can enslave your will. That is why the first unshakable law of power is this: love yourself more than anyone else, not in shallow vanity, but in cold, disciplined devotion. Because when the betrayals come, and they always come, you will not shatter. When the approval fades, you will not crawl. When the world turns its back, you will remain standing. This law makes you untouchable. It cuts through rejection like a blade through silk. It makes you immune to manipulation, immune to loss, immune to the poison of false love. And when you become immune, you become dangerous. You become the fortress no one can invade, the throne no one can seize. Your love for yourself becomes your empire. And from that empire, you move the world on your own terms. Now write it into the comments. Etch it into stone. Declare it so others see and remember. My loyalty is to myself first. Do not let these words be a passing thought. Let them become your mantra, your armor, your law. Because the men who ascend, the men who dominate, are those who master themselves before they try to master others. Number 1, the awakening. Power begins in silence, in the cold recognition that no one is coming to save you. Most people will never face this truth. They drown in illusions, clinging to the comfort of approval, begging to be accepted, terrified of being alone. But you are here because you feel the pull of something greater. You are here because you know that weakness is a disease and dependency is its poison. Understand this: the world does not reward kindness without leverage. It does not honor sacrifice without advantage. Loyalty, love, and devotion. These are currencies that others will spend until you are bankrupt. And the moment your value dries up, they will vanish, leaving you with nothing but the ruins of your own misplaced trust. Machiavelli understood. Trust sparingly. Depend on no one. Hold yourself above all, he wrote, not for dreamers, but for rulers, for men willing to face the brutal laws of reality. And his words echo still. The first throne you must conquer is the one inside yourself. To love yourself more than anyone else is not vanity. It is survival. It is the foundation of inner power. When betrayal comes, and it always does, you will not collapse because your loyalty is already sealed within. When rejection claws at you, it will find no weakness because you do not beg for validation. When the world turns its back, you will not stumble. You will rise untouched because your throne cannot be taken. So carve this into your mind, brand it into your spirit. Write it now in the comments so it burns into your memory. I am my own fortress. Say it, repeat it, own it, because this is where the transformation begins. No longer a shadow, no longer a servant. From this point forward, you become untouchable. This is Sigim, and you are entering the domain of kings. Number 2, the nature of betrayal. Power shatters illusions. The moment you rise, the masks around you begin to slip. Friends become competitors. Lovers become liabilities. Even family can turn predator when advantage is at stake. Betrayal is not rare. It is the default. It is the natural response of the weak when faced with the strong. Machiavelli warned, trust is the most dangerous currency. To hand someone your trust is to place your fate in their hands. And most hands are too weak to carry it. People betray for profit. They betray for envy. They betray simply because your strength reminds them of your weakness. And the more you rise, the more knives will be sharpened behind your back. So never be shocked by betrayal. Expect it. Prepare for it. Accept it as the tax of power. This expectation makes you unbreakable, because when the dagger comes, you will not cry. You will smile. You will know that their treachery only proves your dominance. Their envy is your confirmation. Betrayal is not your downfall. It is your proof. Proof that you have become a man worth envying, a man worth plotting against. And while others spend their lives whining about disloyalty, you turn it into fuel. You sharpen yourself. You become colder, harder, untouchable. Write it in the comments now. Let the weak be unsettled when they read it. Betrayal is the shadow that proves my light. Those who understand will see your words and nod. Those who don't were never meant to walk this path. Number 3, mastering isolation. Silence is where kings are forged. Noise is where slaves are broken. Every day, people drown themselves in chatter, in gossip, in meaningless conversations that drain their energy and scatter their focus. They cling to the crowd because the crowd hides their weakness. But the man who cannot sit alone, the man who cannot bear his own company, is already defeated. Isolation is not loneliness. It is discipline. It is training. It is the fire in which iron becomes steel. In solitude, you strip away illusions, and what remains is the truth. The truth of who you are and what you must become. The weak fear this truth, so they keep themselves endlessly distracted. But the strong face it, and facing it, they sharpen themselves into weapons. Think about it. Every great mind, every strategist, every conqueror understood the necessity of stepping back from the crowd. Machiavelli himself advised rulers to remain apart, to keep a certain distance, because too much familiarity breeds contempt, and too much openness invites manipulation. To always be available is to always be vulnerable. But to withdraw, to cultivate silence, to guard yourself, that is to command respect. When you master isolation, rejection loses its sting. Betrayal cannot break you. Abandonment cannot move you. Why? Because you are already whole. You no longer depend on the crowd for approval, nor on relationships for validation. You become your own anchor, your own fortress, your own empire. And when people realize that you don't need them, that you thrive in solitude, that you are untouchable, they begin to need you more. That is the paradox of power. The man who fears isolation becomes addicted to company. He becomes dependent on others for his sense of worth. That dependence makes him weak, predictable, easy to manipulate. But the man who embraces isolation becomes unpredictable. He is feared, respected, desired, because he cannot be controlled. When you master isolation, you master yourself. And when you master yourself, you master the world. Withdraw. Learn to relish silence. Use solitude as your forge. Plan in secret, move in silence. Build in the shadows until your strength is undeniable. Then when you step into the light, no one will understand how you became what you are. They will only see the finished product. Cold, powerful, untouchable. Write it now in the comments and let it echo through the week. Who dare read it? My silence is my weapon. Burn it into your mind until it becomes law. Because the day you stop fearing solitude is the day you become the one they fear being without. Number 4, the armor of indifference. Indifference is the sharpest armor a man can ever wear, more powerful than steel, more enduring than stones. Indifference makes you untouchable in a world that feeds on weakness. Understand this. People survive by exploiting emotions. They provoke to make you lash out. They flatter to make you lower your guard. They guilt you into submission. They seduce you into dependency. And if you take the bait, you are already theirs. But when you remain indifferent, when your face does not twitch, your breath does not quicken, your pulse does not betray you, you strip them of their greatest weapon, influence. Think of it like this. Emotions are levers. People pull them to move you in the direction they want. Anger, pride, fear, desire, guilt. These are the handles of control. But if those handles do not exist in you, or if you lock them behind your armor, no one can move you. You stand still while they exhaust themselves trying to provoke a reaction that never comes. That silence, that lack of response, it terrifies them because it shows them something they cannot fathom. Control. Machiavelli understood this. He wrote that appearances often matter more than reality. Power is not always about having the sharpest sword. It is about being seen as unshaken, unmovable, inevitable. To appear calm while chaos rages is to project dominance. To appear composed when betrayed is to strike fear in the hearts of your enemies. To appear indifferent when others beg for reaction is to make them collapse under the weight of their own emotions. Listen closely. Indifference is not apathy. Apathy is weakness, an inability to care about anything. Indifference, by contrast, is supreme control. It is the conscious choice to deny others access to your emotional core. It is the discipline of kings, the cold steel of rulers, the law of men who refuse to be puppets. Consider the manipulator. He thrives on your reaction. He pokes until you flinch. He lies until you argue. He pushes until you lose your composure. But if you stand there silent, calm, and unmoved, you reverse the power dynamic. His tricks fall flat. His energy collapses. His strategy backfires. He is exposed as powerless because the manipulator without your reaction is nothing. The jealous enemy will try to bait you with insults. The bitter rival will try to wound you with disrespect. The desperate will try to pull you into their drama. But if you remain indifferent, their words hang in the air, lifeless, powerless, meaningless. The room sees it. They see you standing above it all, and instantly you ascend. Because dominance is not about being louder. It is about being unshaken. Look around you in life. Who are the men that command true respect? They are not the ones ranting in anger, nor the ones constantly chasing validation, nor the ones desperate to be liked. They are the men who stand still, the ones who say little, the ones who do not chase applause. Their power radiates from their calm indifference. When others are frantic, they are composed. When others are enraged, they are cold. When others are begging for reaction, they give none. That is power. Indifference also frees you. This is the secret. Once you no longer react to insults, humiliation cannot touch you. Once you no longer crave validation, manipulation loses its grip. Once you no longer fear rejection, abandonment is irrelevant. And once you no longer fear loss, you cannot be broken. Imagine how dangerous you become when nothing shakes you, nothing bends you, nothing claws at your mind. That is the essence of Machiavellian strength, complete mastery over yourself. Because here is the truth. The world belongs to the man who owns himself, the man who cannot be swayed by flattery, who cannot be broken by betrayal, who cannot be lured by desire. He becomes a fortress no one can invade. His power grows not because he controls others, but because he first controls himself. Think of indifference as armor forged piece by piece. The first piece is control over anger. When insulted, do not react. Let their words fall into the void. Nothing disarms a rival faster than silence. The second piece is control over pride. Do not waste your energy proving yourself to anyone. Your presence, your discipline, your silence is proof enough. The third piece is control over desire. Do not let lust, greed, or craving drag you into traps. A man who cannot control his appetite will always be led on a leash. And the final piece is control over fear. Fear is the most exploited emotion in existence. Master it, and no one can use it against you. Indifference is not about refusing to feel. It is about refusing to be controlled. You will feel desire, rage, hunger, and doubt, but you must decide whether those feelings are allowed to escape, whether they are allowed to show, whether they are allowed to rule you. The king feels everything, but reveals nothing. Think of betrayal. Most men collapse when betrayed. They rage, they weep, they spiral into weakness. But the man of indifference, he smiles coldly. He already expected betrayal. He already prepared for it, and now it only confirms what he knew. People serve themselves first. His indifference becomes his advantage. His calm destroys the betrayer, because nothing wounds a traitor more than a man who is unmoved by treachery. Think of rejection. Most beggars for approval crawl when they are denied. They crumble, they chase, they cry. But the man of indifference, he does not chase, he does not collapse, he does not beg. He turns his focus inward where his power already resides. Rejection cannot touch him because he was never dependent on their acceptance in the first place. This is why indifference is feared, because it means you are untouchable. When nothing moves you, nothing owns you. When nothing shakes you, everything bends to you. Remember this. Power is not loud. Power is not emotional. Power is not frantic. Power is calm, silent, cold. The ocean is calm until it chooses to rage. The storm is silent before it strikes. That is the model you must follow. Control yourself so completely that your indifference terrifies everyone who tries to move you. This armor separates rulers from slaves. Slaves beg for love, beg for respect, beg for validation. Kings stand still. They do not explain. They do not defend. They do not chase. They observe. They decide, and they move on their own terms. Write it now in the comments. Seal it into your mind as law. Indifference is my armor. Let it echo. Let others see it. Let it unsettle those who live addicted to reaction. Because once you master indifference, you walk through life untouchable. And untouchable men are the ones who rise to power. Number 5. Weaponizing perception. Perception is the battlefield most men never see. They think strength is built on muscles, on weapons, on money. But the greatest power is not in what you are. It is in what others believe you are. The world does not move on truth. It moves on perception. And the man who can shape perception bends reality itself. Understand this. People are not searching for truth. They are searching for certainty, for meaning, for confidence to follow. And if you can project certainty, if you can control what they see, you can rule without ever raising your voice. Machiavelli warned that it is not necessary to be good. It is only necessary to appear good. Likewise, it is not necessary to be powerful. It is only necessary to appear unshakable, untouchable, inevitable. Appearance becomes armor. Perception becomes a weapon. Think of the strategist who hides weakness behind silence. The crowd interprets silence as confidence. They imagine strength where there is none. Think of the ruler who projects calm when chaos erupts. His enemies tremble because they assume he has control. Think of the man who is betrayed yet shows no reaction. His indifference terrifies the betrayer who expected collapse. All of these are examples of weaponized perception, turning the illusions in others' minds into instruments of control. Perception is about understanding one thing. People rarely judge you by your reality. They judge you by what they see, what they hear, and what they imagine. That is why men who control their image dominate men who cannot. Your reputation can travel further than you ever could. Your aura can influence rooms you haven't even entered. And once people believe you are powerful, they will treat you as such, even if your power exists only in their minds. This is why Machiavelli advised rulers to cultivate both the lion and the fox. The lion projects strength, fearlessness, dominance. The fox projects cunning, unpredictability, intelligence. You must become both, showing strength when necessary, showing subtlety when useful. Appear unpredictable. Appear above the crowd. Appear as if you already know the outcome before the game begins. Because once perception bends in your favor, reality follows. Now let us go deeper. How do you weaponize perception? You do it through control of 3 realms: silence, presence, and narrative. 1. Silence. Words expose you. Too much speaking makes you predictable. But silence makes people fill the gaps with their own fears, doubts, or admiration. When you are silent, they assume you are calculating. When you are silent, they project power onto you. And often what they imagine is more powerful than anything you could have said. Learn this. Your silence will speak louder than the screams of the desperate. 2. Presence. The way you carry yourself announces you before you ever speak. Indifference in your eyes, steadiness in your body, control in your tone. These things create an aura that others cannot ignore. Do not fidget, do not rush, do not show weakness in posture. Every gesture must say, I am already in control. Even your enemies will hesitate when your presence radiates certainty. 3. Narrative. The story others tell about you becomes more powerful than the story you tell about yourself. Feed this carefully. Let your victories be seen. Let your discipline be visible. Let your indifference to failure become legend. Never explain yourself. Explanations make you small. Instead, let your actions, your control, your aura write the story. People will spread it, exaggerate it, and soon you will be larger than life in their minds. Weaponizing perception is about economy. You do not need to fight every battle. You only need to create the perception that fighting you is already a loss. Most will submit before the conflict even begins, and those who dare to test you will crumble faster, because they have already convinced themselves you are stronger. That is the invisible advantage perception gives you. Think about it. Armies have surrendered to rumors. Nations have bent to illusions. Men have bowed to reputations they could not see, only hear about. Power does not always flow from reality. It flows from belief. And the man who commands belief commands the world. But beware, just as perception can be weaponized, it can also betray you if you lose control of it. A single moment of weakness revealed to the wrong eyes can spread like fire. One careless display of desperation, one poorly timed outburst, and your aura begins to crack. This is why discipline is everything. You must guard your image as fiercely as a king guards his crown. Never let them see you beg. Never let them see you panic. Never let them see you dependent. Because once perception collapses, reality soon follows. So you must live by law. Never reveal everything. Never give the crowd the full truth of who you are. Keep mystery alive. Keep your depth hidden. Mystery is magnetic. It makes them obsess, makes them speculate, makes them chase answers they will never find. And while they waste energy trying to decode you, you conserve energy building power. Weaponizing perception means turning yourself into a symbol. Symbols outlive men. Symbols inspire loyalty, fear, and awe, while others see themselves as individuals craving acceptance. You see yourself as a force, a presence, an inevitability. When people look at you, they should not see a man. They should see a fortress, a storm, a shadow they cannot touch. Do not misunderstand. This is not about fakery. Fakery is exposed. This is about mastery. It is about embodying control so deeply that what you project is not a mask, but an extension of your discipline. Indifference in your emotions, silence in your words, dominance in your posture, patience in your actions. These are not acts. These are your truth, sharpened until they become legend. And once legend forms, it becomes untouchable. People will speak of you in ways you no longer need to maintain. They will exaggerate your calm, inflate your victories, mythologize your presence, and that myth will protect you even when you are absent. That is the height of power, when your perception rules the room even without you in it. So remember, truth matters little, reality matters less. Perception is everything, and the man who bends perception bends the world. Now write it in the comments and let it echo like a declaration of intent. Perception is my weapon. Make it your creed. Because when you master perception, when you project strength, when you radiate control, you no longer play the game. You make the rules. Number 6, the calculated use of fear. Fear is the oldest language of power. Before men learned words, before they invented laws, before kingdoms rose, fear ruled. It moved armies, broke rebellions, and bent wills. Fear is not weakness. It is a weapon. A weapon that when wielded with precision makes you untouchable. Understand this. People do not respect kindness unless it is backed by force. They do not honor generosity unless they fear losing it. Without fear, loyalty becomes soft, respect becomes shallow, and obedience collapses the moment temptation whispers. Machiavelli wrote it clearly. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Love is fragile, but fear is enduring. Love is conditional, but fear is constant. Love disappears in times of crisis, but fear sharpens in those very moments. But do not mistake fear for cruelty. Cruelty is reckless. Cruelty breeds chaos, rebellion, and ruin. Fear, when used correctly, is not chaos. It is control. It is the quiet presence of power that keeps people in line. It is the invisible pressure that stops them from betraying you. It is the certainty that stepping against you will cost them more than they are willing to pay. Think of the lion. It does not roar at every creature it sees. It does not slaughter endlessly. It moves with restraint, with precision, but its presence alone inspires fear. Other animals submit not because the lion wastes energy proving itself every day, but because its aura is undeniable. The lion embodies potential violence, a quiet, controlled dominance. That is the kind of fear you must cultivate. So how do you wield fear without burning yourself? You wield it with calculation. You do not explode in anger. You reveal your power in silence. You do not beg to be respected. You make disrespect costly. You do not threaten recklessly. You imply consequences with calm certainty. The most terrifying men are not those who scream. They are the ones who smile while others tremble. The ones who punish once and make that punishment echo for years. The key is balance. Too little fear and you will be taken for granted. Too much fear and people will conspire to destroy you. Machiavelli himself warned that a ruler should inspire enough fear to ensure loyalty, but not so much hatred that people dream of his downfall. Your goal is not terror. It is discipline, not chaos. It is control. To be feared in a way that earns respect, not hatred. To be remembered as unyielding, not as reckless. Now reflect on the world you live in. Why do people follow authority figures? Why do they obey bosses, leaders, governments? It is not out of pure love. It is because fear lives beneath the surface. Fear of loss, fear of punishment, fear of exclusion. Remove fear and their authority crumbles overnight. Fear is the silent foundation holding society together. And you must learn to make it the foundation of your own empire. But here is the dark truth. Fear must be demonstrated not endlessly, not desperately, but decisively. If you never reveal consequences, people will test you. If you never enforce boundaries, they will cross them. That is why when the moment comes, you must act with precision. You must punish betrayal so thoroughly that no one forgets. You must withdraw loyalty so suddenly that others tremble at the thought of losing it. One decisive act of discipline can establish more respect than 1,000 words. Fear also applies to personal relationships. Weak men think being endlessly nice earns them love. It does not. It earns them contempt. Why? Because without fear of losing you, others will take you for granted. Without fear of consequence, others will disrespect you. But when your presence demands respect, when your absence is feared, when your boundaries are untouchable, you become irresistible. People respect what they cannot break, and they fear what they cannot control. This does not mean walking around snarling at the world. It means cultivating an aura. When you speak, your words must carry weight because they are not wasted. When you punish, you must be swift, cold, final, never emotional, never desperate. And when you show kindness, it must be deliberate, selective, rare. That scarcity makes it valuable. That balance keeps people close, while fear keeps them in line. Think of history. The rulers who lasted longest were not the most loved. They were the most respected. Alexander, Caesar, Napoleon. They inspired loyalty. Yes, but beneath that loyalty was the fear of their power, their ambition, their brilliance. Even their allies feared crossing them. And that fear is why their names echo centuries later. Fear is not about becoming a tyrant. Tyrants burn fast and die violently. Fear is about becoming inevitable. It is about being so unshakable, so untouchable that betrayal feels suicidal. It is about being so disciplined in your power that even your enemies speak of you with respect. So cultivate fear in silence. Guard your boundaries with precision. Show kindness sparingly, but enforce consequences ruthlessly. Let people love you if they wish, but ensure they fear the thought of losing you more. Because love without fear is weak, but fear without love is unstable. Together they form unshakable loyalty. Remember this. The man who is only loved is fragile. The man who is only feared is unstable. But the man who is respected because he balances both becomes untouchable. Now write it into the comments. Seal it as law and let others feel the weight of your words. Fear is my silent weapon. Let them see it. Let them wonder why those words strike harder than anything they've ever said. Because you are not here to be harmless. You are here to be formidable. Number 7, the economy of power. Power is currency, not metaphorically. Literally, it flows, it exchanges, it is spent, hoarded, traded, and stolen. Most men are broke, not because the world has stripped them, but because they have squandered their own treasury. They give away respect for free. They hand out their attention like cheap coins. They waste their time, the most precious commodity they own. on people and pursuits unworthy of their energy. And then they wonder why they are empty, why no one respects them, why their life feels bankrupt. You must understand this truth. Power is not infinite. Like wealth, it can be managed, multiplied, or drained. Every word you speak costs something. Every emotion you reveal costs something. Every piece of attention you hand to another is a coin from your vault. The weak spend recklessly. The strong guard their balance like kings guarding gold. Machiavelli wrote that rulers must act with frugality. Generosity without strategy bankrupts. He was not speaking only of money. He was speaking of energy, of influence, of aura. A ruler who spends himself carelessly weakens his throne. A ruler who invests with precision grows untouchable. Think of yourself as an empire. Your mind is your treasury, your time, your focus, your discipline. These are your coins. And every day, people try to rob you. They beg for your attention. They demand your energy. They tempt you into wasting time. And if you are careless, they will bleed you dry until your vault is empty. Look at the common man. He argues with fools online, spending his energy for nothing. He overshares secrets, making himself vulnerable. He chases approval, paying with his dignity. He spends hours entertaining the unworthy, hours chasing relationships that offer no return, hours scrolling through distractions that make him weaker. His economy is broken. He is bankrupt in power. Now look at the disciplined man. He does not waste. He does not reveal. He does not scatter himself. His silence is deliberate. His presence scarce. His time rationed. When he gives, it feels like gold because it is rare. When he speaks, his words carry weight because they are not wasted. When he acts, it shakes the ground because it is not common. His economy is tight. His vault is full. His power multiplies. Scarcity creates value. This is the law. What is abundant is ignored. What is rare is wearied. This is why the man always available loses respect, while the man hard to reach becomes desired. This is why the one who overshares is dismissed, while the one who reveals little becomes mysterious, magnetic. Scarcity transforms ordinary presence into priceless currency. Think about your time. How many hours are stolen daily by trivial people and meaningless tasks? Every hour you waste is a coin lost forever. You cannot regain it. And the man who bleeds his time out for free will always die broke in power. Now think about your attention. Every distraction you indulge, every fool you listen to, every worthless drama you absorb drains your focus. That focus could have been invested in building skill, empire, and dominance. Instead, it was spent feeding parasites. Guard your economy. This means guarding your time with the same ruthlessness you would guard a vault of gold. Guard your attention as if it were a crown. Guard your presence as if it were a rare jewel, and never ever hand out your respect to the unworthy. But this does not mean hoarding like a miser. No. Power grows through investment. You must know when to spend, when to speak, when to act, when to give, when to punish. The difference between the weak and the strong is precision. The weak spend reactively, emotionally, constantly. The strong spend strategically, selectively, decisively. Think of a master investor. He does not chase every opportunity. He waits. He calculates. He chooses the one move that multiplies his wealth. So must you manage your power. Speak rarely, but when you do, let it cut through the room. Act rarely, but when you act, let it echo. Show kindness sparingly, but when you do, let it be unforgettable. In this way, every coin of your power multiplies. Machiavelli taught rulers to appear generous while remaining frugal. Why? Because reckless generosity weakens you, but calculated generosity binds others. Give rarely, but give in ways that make people loyal. Invest your attention in those who strengthen you, not those who drain you. Reward selectively, so your rewards are cherished like crowns. The key is not endless giving. It is strategic giving. Giving that costs little but yields loyalty, respect, or influence in return. Look at history. The most powerful men were masters of economy. They did not waste themselves proving their worth. Their silence was heavier than the noise of 1,000 others. Their rare approval was coveted. Their disapproval was feared. Their scarcity made them priceless. Alexander did not speak endlessly. He commanded. Caesar did not chase respect. His presence demanded it. Napoleon did not hand out loyalty. He inspired it by giving it only to the worthy. This is why you must adopt a new mindset. Your life is a ledger. Every decision is a transaction. Every reaction is a payment. Every word, every action, every drop of energy must be weighed against return. Does this action build your power or waste it? Does this person strengthen your empire or drain it? Is this use of time an investment or a loss? The weak never ask these questions. The strong ask them daily. To master this economy, you must also master denial. Learn to say no. Learn to walk away. Learn to refuse. Weak men bleed because they cannot deny others. Strong men grow because they refuse to waste coins on the unworthy. If something does not serve your throne, do not pay for it with your attention, your time, your respect. Protect your balance. When you master this, your power multiplies naturally. Your silence becomes golden. Your presence becomes diamond. Your approval becomes priceless. People will crave it. They will fight for it. They will tremble at the thought of losing it. And you will give it rarely, with precision like a king granting coins to his people. So understand the economy of power is ruthless. Waste it and you will be poor. Guard it and you will be feared. Invest it and you will be untouchable. Now write it into the comments as law. Seal it into your mind and let it echo in the eyes of those who read it. I spend power with precision. Let others waste themselves. You will not, because kings are not crowned by chance. They are crowned by economy. And once you master yours, your empire will never collapse. Number 8, turning pain into power. Pain is the universal language of existence. Every man will speak it. Every man will taste it. Betrayal, rejection, humiliation, loss, failure. These are not accidents. They are guarantees. They are the currency the world demands from you. The question is never, will I suffer? The question is always, what will I do with my suffering? Most men break. They drown in their wounds, begging for sympathy. They whine. They complain. They search for pity. And when the world grows bored with their weakness, they are discarded like useless tools. But a rare few, those cut from harder stone, refuse to die inside their pain. They turn it. They weaponize it. They forge it into fire. And that fire makes them untouchable. Understand this. The world will not reward your suffering. It will not crown you because you hurt. It does not care. Sympathy is shallow, temporary, and poisoned. If you cry long enough, people stop listening. If you fall apart, they step over your body. The world respects strength, especially strength born from suffering. That is why you must not carry your pain like a coffin. You must wield it like a blade. Machiavelli understood that suffering was not weakness. It was instruction. Comfort blinds rulers. Comfort makes them arrogant, soft, predictable. But hardship teaches. It shatters illusions. It forces rulers to face truths the comfortable never see. For a man of power, pain is not a curse. It is the raw material of greatness. Think of betrayal. The weak collapse under it, crying about loyalty. They cling to illusions that people should be faithful forever. But the strong take betrayal as confirmation of reality. They study it. They grow colder, sharper, harder. Every dagger in their back becomes armor on their chest. Every lie told against them is a lesson in trust. Betrayal does not break them. It makes them immune. They never beg for loyalty again. They command it. Think of rejection. Most beggars crumble when denied. They spiral. They chase. They crawl for approval. But the strong, they rise from rejection. They refuse to kneel. Rejection reminds them of their independence. Rejection forces them to build from within. Every no becomes fuel. Every closed door becomes another brick in their fortress. While the weak cry for acceptance, the strong sharpen their isolation into a throne. Think of loss. Most are destroyed by it. They sink into despair, crippled by grief. But the strong, they turn loss into hunger. They channel emptiness into drive. Loss reminds them that nothing is guaranteed, that life is fragile, that time is short, and so they act ruthlessly, now with no hesitation. Loss becomes their fuel to move faster, harder, colder. This is the law. Pain either burns you into ash or forges you into steel. Weak men are ash, scattered, forgotten, trampled by time. Strong men are steel, hardened, unbreakable, unforgettable. And that choice is yours. How do you turn pain into power? You do it in 3 steps. Step 1, acceptance. Stop begging for fairness. Stop waiting for relief. Stop pretending the world owes you mercy. Pain is not injustice. It is reality. Every man suffers. Every king bleeds. Every conqueror mourns. But only the weak whine. The strong accept pain as the price of living. And once you accept it, you stop wasting energy fighting it. You begin to use it. Step 2, analysis. Pain is a teacher. It always delivers a message. Every betrayal reveals who not to trust. Every rejection reveals where not to waste time. Every humiliation reveals a weakness in your armor. But most men are too blinded by emotion to learn. They feel, but they do not study. They rage, but they do not dissect. You must be colder. You must analyze. You must look pain in the eye and ask, what truth are you showing me? Only then can pain become instruction. Step 3, transmutation. Pain is energy. Left unchecked, it rots into despair, but channeled, it becomes power. Funnel heartbreak into discipline. Funnel betrayal into strategy. Funnel humiliation into hunger. Every scar becomes a mark of resilience. Every wound becomes a reminder of endurance. The fire that destroys wood is the same fire that forges steel. You choose which one you become. History remembers men forged in pain. Alexander lost his father young and used grief to fuel conquest. Caesar was betrayed, hunted, humiliated, but turned his suffering into ruthless ambition, seizing Rome itself. Napoleon rose from rejection and obscurity to dominate Europe. Their greatness was not born in comfort. It was born in suffering. Pain carved them into legends. Do not fear pain. Fear comfort. Comfort is the silent killer. It softens edges. It dulls instincts. It blinds rulers until they collapse. Pain awakens. Pain sharpens. Pain reveals reality with brutal clarity. That is why men who chase comfort decay, while men who embrace pain ascend. Machiavelli taught that rulers must be willing to act ruthlessly when necessary. Apply this ruthlessness to yourself. Do not pity your wounds. Do not wallow in weakness. Look your pain in the eye and command it. You belong to me. You will serve me. You will fuel me. When others collapse, you rise. When others complain, you act. When others beg, you conquer. This is the paradox. Once you master pain, you become untouchable. No betrayal can break you. You've already turned betrayal into armor. No rejection can destroy you. You've already transformed rejection into independence. No loss can paralyze you. You've already converted loss into fire. You walk forward armored in scars, and those scars terrify anyone who tried to wound you. So stop asking why you suffer. Start asking what you will do with it. Stop begging for mercy. Start forging power. Stop letting pain own you. Start owning pain. Because the man who owns his suffering rules himself. And the man who rules himself cannot be ruled by anyone else. Write it now in the comments and let it stand as your declaration. My pain is my power. Let others read it and feel disturbed. Let the weak feel exposed because they will see in you what they lack. The ability to weaponize wounds, and that is why they will never touch you. Number 9, becoming untouchable. Untouchable, that is the destination. Not immortal, not invincible. Untouchable, a state of being where betrayal cannot shake you, rejection cannot wound you, and loss cannot break you. Where enemies waste their strength plotting against you. But every strike lands uselessly against the armor you've built. Where the crowd whispers your name, not because you beg for their recognition, but because your presence demands it. What does it mean to be untouchable? It means you have cut the chains of dependence. You do not need their validation, their love, their loyalty, their comfort. You do not collapse when they leave. You do not beg when they deny. You do not shatter when they betray because your power no longer comes from them. It comes from you. That is the final law of inner mastery. Machiavelli knew that rulers who depended on the loyalty of others were doomed. Men are fickle. He said they love while it is convenient. They praise while it is profitable. But when storms arrive, loyalty vanishes. The ruler who tied himself to the fragile bonds of devotion collapsed. But the ruler who tied himself to fear, to control, to strategy survived. You must apply this to yourself. Tie your strength not to others, but to your own fortress. That fortress is you. Being untouchable does not mean you are numb. It means you control your emotions instead of being controlled by them. It means you feel pain, but weaponize it. It means you feel rejection, but rise from it. It means you feel betrayal, but turn it into armor. The untouchable man does not deny emotions. He commands them. He bends them to his will. He uses them as fuel, never as chains. Think of every lesson carved into you. Self-love is law. You chose yourself above all others because no one else will protect you the way you can. The nature of betrayal. You accepted betrayal as inevitable, and now no dagger can surprise you. Isolation as strength. You mastered solitude, making you complete without the crowd. Indifference as armor. You learned to stand unshaken, immune to manipulation. Perception as weapon. You bent the illusions of others into instruments of control. Fear as discipline. You wielded fear with precision, not cruelty, ensuring loyalty without chaos. Power as economy. You stopped wasting energy, treating every word and action like coins of gold, pain as fire. You turned suffering into steel, transmuting every wound into fuel. And now all of this converges here. The man who masters these laws becomes untouchable. Look at history. The names remembered are not the comfortable, they are the hardened. They were envied, betrayed, hunted, hated. Yet they endured. They endured because they built themselves into fortresses. They endured because they refused to let the world dictate their worth. They endured because they became untouchable. The untouchable man is feared by enemies, respected by allies, and desired by the crowd. Not because he seeks these things, but because he commands them without asking. His silence is heavy. His gaze is unsettling. His presence shifts the room. People cannot explain it, but they feel it. The weight of someone who cannot be broken. And here is the final truth. Becoming untouchable is not about what you do once. It is about what you do daily. Discipline, ruthlessness, cold selfless mastery. Every day you choose yourself. You build your fortress higher every day. You deny weakness. You sharpen your blade every day. You transmute pain. You strengthen your armor. Until one day you realize no one owns you. No one controls you. No one touches you. Do not mistake me. Being untouchable will make you feared. It will make you envied. It will make you hated. But that hatred is proof. Proof that you have risen above them. Proof that you are no longer one of them. The masses hate what they cannot break. They resent what they cannot own. They envy what they cannot touch. Their hatred is your crown. So here is your final command. Stop chasing love. Start commanding respect. Stop drowning in weakness. Start sharpening strength. Stop begging for mercy. Start building ruthlessness. Crown yourself in self-love. Cloak yourself in indifference. Arm yourself with pain. Move in silence. Project power. Become untouchable. Now I ask you one last time. Write it into the comments so it burns into your mind. I am untouchable. Let the weak read it and tremble. Let the strong read it and nod. Let it echo. Let it spread. Let it mark you as one of the few who refuse to be broken. And if you found strength here, if you felt the fire sharpen inside you, then do what must be done. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications. Because Seguri is not here to comfort you. It is here to forge you. And kings are not made in comfort. Kings are made in fire. You are no longer a shadow. You are no longer a servant. You are becoming untouchable.